Hey, Sammy, so always with you, there's that question about some of the injuries that you had and that sort of thing, and you obviously fight through them. How is it this year so far?
Yeah, no, I'm in a pretty good place. I actually played the majority of the season last year, so it was a good step forward for me and hit the ground running again in pre-season. Had a tiny hiccup with a little hamstring injury, just a low-grade sort of 2-3 week injury, and I'm back into match sim now. So I think I'll play the majority of this intra-club on Saturday, so I'll be raring to go come the start of the season.
And if you looked around and you noticed that Lockie's not there, is it something you notice when he's not in the forward line?
Not anymore, to be honest. You have to move on pretty quickly. We've got a list of 45. We've had some new players coming in. So, it was obviously disappointing to lose him last year. He was a close mate of mine and he's obviously a gun player. But, we've had an influx of guys coming into the forward line now and it's exciting.
Who's looking like taking that spot?
To be honest, it's up for grabs and that's a good thing. It's really competitive. With Bailey Banfield, Sam Sturt, we're continually playing some good footy. We've got a few train-ons into the forward line. We've got a couple of list spots available, so the club might look at signing a couple of those blokes. We've also got a really competitive midfield at the moment, and so there's a few guys come drifting down forward, which is also pleasing. So there's a big mix, and I couldn't tell you, couldn't even guess what round one will look like, which is a good thing.
As someone who went through a different pathway to most of the guys, when you see these sign-ons coming in training and stuff that's a bit more mature, what do you think when you see those guys coming through the system?
Yeah, I love it. It's sort of semi-know what they're going through a little bit, how much they want the opportunity, how determined they are. They've obviously been having a crack for a while, some of them, and I love that the rule that's come in about letting guys train on is for the pre-season for an extra chance, and it's a great experience for them. Even if they don't get picked up, I think they'd appreciate the experience and learn a lot, and gives them a chance, whether it's now mid-season draft or further on, to get picked up. So that's only a good thing. Enjoy watching them flourish.
Anyone you've gravitated towards and sort of trying to help out specifically?
Little Maxi is a small forward, and we're actually managed by the same company as well, so there's a little connection there, and I've loved the way he's gone about it so far this pre-season. He's a really smart footballer, good IQ and very skillful, and it's come out in our match sim so far.
Scoring seems like it's going to be the most important thing almost. The midfield looks like it's okay. They've had to rely on blokes like yourself to kick goals in the past, and Lockie. Are the big guys, are you noticing something from Josh Tracy, or are the guys standing up there that in the key position?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily say they've relied on me to kick goals and shoot. It's been fairly even across the last few years, but we're certainly looking to improve our scoring and our offense. Our defense has been fairly solid for a number of years with JL, and clearly working on our contest as well. And as you said, the midfield's going really well. So I think there's a lot of avenues to score down there. Josh Tracy is training phenomenal at the moment. It's really pleasing to see him improve. We've got a nice mix down there. We're actually starting to get a little bit of continuity with our tools, Jai and Luke Jackson as well. So plenty of avenues to score.
And Tabs. There's
Tabs
a bit of competition there as well.
Absolutely, more competition. Tabs is fit. We know what he can do. He's a reliable key forward. He's been doing it for years. So it's good to see him fit and healthy, and he'll be putting his hand up as well.
Ball coming in a bit quicker for you? Would that make a bit of a difference?
I think we're certainly trying to move the ball a little bit quicker, but I think there's so many other parts to it and ways to score. We're also, if we can lock the ball in our forward 50 more and get those re-entries, which is not necessarily moving the ball quicker, but it's our contest and our pressure down there to keep it locked in. It's our efficiency of scoring, so making sure we're executing well going inside 50 and then hitting the scoreboard and kicking goals instead of behind. So there's so many different pieces and we're working on all of it, but moving the ball quicker will be a piece of it. Yeah.
Last year you described Shooter as your favourite teammate.
Yeah.
How do you feel about him now?
To be honest, it doesn't really change too much. He's a great fella. There's no hard feelings, so I hope he does really well at Collingwood, to be honest.
Last year you were pushing up into the midfield a little bit.
Yep.
Do you think you'll do that at times still this season, or more solid down the forward line?
I think it'll be a combination of both. I think I'll still sort of flirt with going into the midfield a little bit, probably use my strengths in centre square bounces and around stoppage a little bit, but I probably won't be doing heaps of time in there. As I said before, we had a lot of midfielders vying for spots and they're doing a really good job. So and having lost Shooter and a little bit of change in with our small forwards, it's pretty important for me to be in the forward line and help lead those guys.
What do you make of the tackling changes? You're obviously a tackler.
Yeah.
I'm not, you're not the biggest bloke in the world, but to bring a bloke to ground all that stuff, what's the change to your technique and your thought process you have to do after what you do?
Yeah, I've only just heard about the new rule change, so we haven't gone over it as a team and spoken about it. It's a tricky one. I mean, I'm all for the AFL bringing in rules to help protect players' heads. I think it's super important, and certainly in favour of that. It's a little bit hard out there because instinctively you grew up and you're taught to bring players to ground, especially as a small player. It's the easiest way to hold on to someone, especially big fellas use their momentum and take them to ground. So it'll be something to think about. I mean, we'd never intentionally go out there to think about getting someone's head into the ground. So there might just be a little bit more caution. But yeah, I mean, accidents still happen and they're probably still going to happen, but it's a good thing that AFL's bringing it to light. And yeah, I suppose have a think about before we get into the season about those little instances where we might get ourselves in trouble.
Have you changed your technique at all over the past year or so?
Not necessarily technique change, probably mindset change a little bit. Just being a bit more careful. If you know you've got the player, don't ram him into the ground, obviously. Be a bit more cautious and it's a fine line and it's tricky. But it's pretty hard to change technique when everything happens so quick out there and it's fast moving and you're in the fight and it's a bit tricky.
How do you handle running down blokes then? That's going to be the one, I reckon.
Yep.
Do you try to run them down and bring them down? Because what would you do in that scenario?
Yeah, well, sometimes when you're going full pace, it's pretty hard. I always try and bring players down. I mean, I find it's not too hard not to make them crash their head because if you're doing that, you're probably pushing them forward and there's a good chance you get a push in the back. So I like to try and grab an arm or something if you can get a hold of the ball for a kick from just making them dispose of it incorrectly through dropping it or something. It's pretty effective. But yeah, like I said, it's just that little bit of caution of not bringing the head in and a little bit of hope as well that that accident doesn't happen.
And you like that protection now, extra protection, maybe even 21 days sitting out if you get concussed and not too much tackling at training?
No, tackling won't stop at training. I would make sure we're on top of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't know the medical side of it of what's the optimum time to be out and how long you need to recover. And obviously, people are still trying to figure that out. But yeah, I'm always in favour of I think, protecting your head, your mind, your brain is probably the most important thing for me at least. I want to make sure I've got my mind when I'm older and I'd rather lose a dysfunctional body part than my brain. So it's probably sometimes hard for people to, people don't always like change and initially whether it's changing technique of a tackle or being more careful out there or you have to sit out for an extra week, it's frustrating, but I think in the long term it'll be a good thing and then it'll become pretty normalised after a while.
You guys have been training for a couple of months, you're only a couple of weeks away from tackling an actual opponent. It's February, a bit too late to be told us all of it. This is the rule, this is what's been brought in. Would you like to have known December, November?
Yeah, I think it would help, but I don't think it'd be too hard over the next few weeks to talk about it and start getting used to it. But yeah, you clearly, I think with a lot of rule changes, you always see the first few rounds are pretty prevalent and players sometimes struggle a little bit with them. But then pretty quickly after the first few weeks, it's goes back to semi-normal.
So how important is tackling at training? Is that going to impact you if you're told you're limited in what you can do at training?
I think there's probably ways around it where we can still practice our tackle technique and how we go about our mindset and what we're trying to achieve out there. I'm not sure what's been proposed in terms of the new potential rule about not being able to tackle as much at training, but it'd just be something we'll have to adjust to. And, it's fair. Everyone's going to have to do the same thing. So we'll just make do and do the best we can.
So we're talking finals for Freo this year? Is that the goal?
I certainly hope so. The goal is to win every game of football. So that'd be the mindset of trying to win every week and focus on the process and hopefully finals is what comes out of it.